Hello and welcome to Community Chats. I'm your host, Ali Hammer, and in this series, we will be hearing from 14 different AWS leaders, each one discussing a different leadership principle. Here to discuss the leadership principle, insist on the highest standards, we are joined with Raisa Hashem, our research specialist, solution architect here at AWS. Raisa, it is so great to have you on the show today. Can you start by telling us a little bit about the leadership principle, insist on the high standards, and what it means to you?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Ali. This leadership principle is absolutely one of the closest to my heart, mainly because I think throughout my career and other spheres of my life, I've discovered that we always tend to sell ourselves a bit short. We think that we can achieve a lot less than what we're actually capable of. And that's absolutely been the case for me. And I think that actually is the case for a lot of women that I speak with. And maybe it's just something that we women tend to do. But to me, insist on the high standards means that I'm relentless about what I do. So it means that I'm setting the bar so high that it seems unachievable. Whether it's at work or it's in my relationships or it's outside of work. Outside of work, I'm also a student of Indian classical dance, and that's also very close to my heart. So, even at dance, I could be learning dance pieces that I just don't think I'm ever going to be able to perform. For myself, I will tend to dive deep to understand the details of something. I'll keep trying and trying, and that means that I'll fail and try again. So obviously at Amazon we have something that's fail fast. So you just make sure that you're failing as much as possible so you can learn and iterate and can keep moving. And I also tend to put myself in situations or challenges where I just don't know how I'll react or I'll adapt. But all of these things together, they just help me learn as much as I can about myself. Yeah, that's basically how I think of insist of the high standards.
Wow, that is so beautiful, and it's so great to hear that you constantly strive to raise the bar for yourself. So how do you encourage your peers to keep their standards high?
The trick is always to not think small, right? We've got the leadership principle, think big, and that's basically because thinking small is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you'll notice that all the leadership principles really go hand in hand that we have. The challenge is to encourage my peers to really think big and set a high bar for themselves. And whether it's for a new customer engagement or learning a new service, you just really have to set the bar high, and then of course really dive deep to be able to understand every single detail about the area or the topic that you've set the bar to achieve. And then of course keep challenging yourself, so you just keep striving higher and higher.
That's a really great way of motivating your team. So what mechanisms do you have in place to ensure that we're always striving for the highest standards with our customers and not only our peers?
It really does come down to knowledge sharing, to be able to connect those customers to other customers that have been able to do incredible things on AWS. So to be able to connect the dots within the community and to be able to excel the knowledge sharing. And other times, it really is just helping the customer, again, achieve something they just didn't think was possible.
And what do you do when someone brings you something that you don't actually think meets the highest standards? Because it might be a little awkward. How do you handle that?
First and foremost is that we absolutely encourage our peers, colleagues, teams to be able to share that with everyone else. Share not just your successes but your failures. And as soon as you can do that, the next thing is obviously to come to the table and go through more of a brainstorming session. Okay, what worked, what didn't work? Have you tried this? Have you, have you tested X, Y, and Z? And if you have, then it's basically taking all of those learnings and putting essentially all of those measures in place to be able to try again.
Raisa, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's been really wonderful to hear your thoughts, and we just really appreciate it. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.